In this video, I'm going to show you some of the features of ArchiCAD that don't necessarily fall into any specific category, but you're going to find them really useful. So one is the ability to change orientation of your drawing elements. So let's say I have these lines here, but I want to view them at a different angle, say 45 degrees. Now it rotated the view, but it didn't change the drawing itself. And my X and my Y axis are still relative to my screen, and it changed the work. Or I can set graphically, and I can select this, and I can change this to maybe be perfectly horizontal, and then my X and Y again are still parallel to my screen. I also have the option of coming up here and changing the grid of the X and Y. So now I just redefined the X value and the Y value at this angle. And I can set the rotated grid. I can even use an edge. And now I just selected that edge. And now you can see that my X is parallel to that edge and my Y is perpendicular to that edge. So that's a really nice feature, and I can just zero that out, go back to where I was and hit orthogonal grid. And now I'm back to my conventional orientation. So that's a really useful tool. The other series of tools I'm going to teach you are on this palette, the control box palette. And this is a series of features that used in the early days of ArchiCAD, these were cutting edge. But I still think they have a place. Here's some shortcuts to our snaps that we've talked about this before. None of that's unfamiliar. The ones I want to show you are right in here. And let's show you how this works, starting with the perpendicular. So when I hit the perpendicular, I select the edge that I want to be perpendicular to. Well, let me draw a line first. Then I hit the perpendicular. And then when I click a point, if I do it right, and I'm clearly not, I hit L for line, select the perpendicular, select the edge. My first point can be anywhere. My next point is going to be forced to be perpendicular to that line. So that's a way to draw a line segment perpendicular without actually having to touch it and then bringing it back. Similarly, we have parallel. I can select the edge. I'm going to select line, select the edge. My first point is arbitrary, but the next point is constrained to be parallel to that edge selection. We have offsets, a single offset, where I can actually draw a series of lines in the line. Then I can key in an offset. And this is a great way to do an offset of your line. I can also do an offset multiple, where I do the same thing, but now I can offset many lines. These shortcuts are O. O will turn it off, go multiples, off, single, multiple, off, single, multiple. That's O. E is parallel, perpendicular, toggles back and forth. Okay, so play around with those. Another tool that I love is this tool here, which allows me, usually I use it with the half mode. And what I can do is I can select here to here, but the point that I'm actually selecting is the midpoint. So it gives me that point right there. So if I want to draw a line starting from the point, oops, back up. So L for line, hit the command, select. It's giving me the point in between, and then I can close that up. So that's a really cool feature of, let's say you're wanting to find the center of a room and put a circle there. So I hit circle, hit the tool, click the two corners, and now the circle is right at the center of the room. I want to put a light there or something. That's a very nice way to use that. And to toggle that feature on with the keyboard, it's the semicolon. So just keep that in mind. It's a semicolon. We'll invoke that command. And it also works even if I'm doing divisions. I do the same thing. Let's say I want to draw a circle. I select my hit semicolon to turn it on, draw the line, and now very faint, but there's a point right in there, and you'll see them light up. And now that's the 1/3 point. So give that a whirl. I think you'll find that to be very useful. I'm going to escape out, hit Control A and delete. I'll go ahead and close this palette. Well, we'll use it here. So the line tool, let's say I want to trace this line with a fill. So I'm going to roll this down, hit a fill. But I don't want to have to redraw the square. I use this magic wand tool. And once I highlight that box or inside of the box, it basically traces that shape and makes a fill right where that line was. I can do this with slabs or walls or anything I want. Instead of redrawing it, I can just trace the shape. The way to get to this command with the in a shortcut method is to use the spacebar. And you'll see the spacebar, if I hold it, you can either click the edge, which is sometimes more robust, or inside the shape. I click and it makes it work. I can draw a line here. By the way, if I hit G, it'll toggle between the different methods. And if I hit Shift L is for fill. I can click in here, I can click in here, I can click the edge and get the whole thing. So there's that and that. I can quickly trace shapes, do it all the time, and it's just using the spacebar. And here it is right here, but I don't normally use that palette. In fact, this whole palette is, for me, replaced by keyboard shortcut. So that is the magic wand. And the last feature I want to teach you in this module is one of my favorites. And it is moving the user coordinate system. So let me draw a rectangle here. Let's say I want to draw a line starting 1 unit over and 1 unit up. Let me check my here. So this is 60 feet. So let's say I want to go 10 up and 10 over. Normally we draw a line. Let's hit G and we go X10, Y10. Draw a line, and then we'd start tracing our shape. And that's fine. But then I have to go back, hold Shift and delete this. The alternative method, and learn how to use this, folks. This one's cool. Go to a line, hit Control Alt. Nope. Shift Alt, Shift Alt. And notice how it moves my origin. And I can move it anywhere I want. And then when I key in values, X10, Y10, it's from that point. And I can move my origin again, and I can go X minus 10, Y10, come down here, and I can go X minus 10, Y0. Didn't get that one right. By the way, if I don't like what I did, I can hit backspace and just goes back one step. Let me move my origin again. And now I'll go X minus 10, Y0, and I'll stop there by hitting enter again. So I'm able to place geometry relative to a user coordinate that I get to move around by hitting Shift Alt. Fantastic little feature there. Get to use it and you'll love it. See you in the next video.